Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Talk Ema. I'm Emma. Today we're talking about future plans and how to speak about them naturally, clearly, and with confidence.
Hi, Emma. Hi, everyone. I'm Jack. I really need this lesson because I often feel nervous when people ask me about my future goals and plans.
You're not alone, Jack. Many English learners know what they want to say, but they struggle to express their future plans in a simple way.
That's exactly me. In job interviews, casual conversations, or even with friends, people often ask me what I plan to do in the future.
And that's why today's lesson is so useful. We'll learn easy and natural ways to talk about dreams, goals, and plans for the future.
I'm excited already. Being able to talk about the future confidently would help me in so many situations, both personally and professionally.
Before we start, if Talk Ema helps you improve your English, please subscribe, share the podcast, and join us again for future episodes.
Yes, we create these lessons for you every day, so thank you for learning with us and being part of our English community.
Okay, Jack, let me ask you something. Do you have any future plans that you're working toward right now, or hoping to achieve soon?
Yes, I do. I want to travel to new places, improve my English speaking skills, and maybe start a small business someday.
Those are wonderful goals. And notice that you said, I want to. That's one very common way to talk about future hopes and plans.
So, I want to is correct, but I have a feeling there are other ways to talk about the future in English too.
Exactly. English gives us several options, and each one has a slightly different meaning depending on the situation and your level of certainty.
That's interesting. I always thought there was only one future tense, but it sounds like there are different ways to express future ideas.
Think about it like choosing clothes. You wear different outfits for different occasions, and future expressions work in a similar way.
That's a helpful comparison. I definitely wouldn't wear pajamas to a job interview, so I guess grammar also changes with the situation.
Exactly. The three most useful forms are will, be going to, and be planning to. Together, they cover most daily conversations.
Okay, that sounds manageable. Three forms are much easier to remember than learning a long list of complicated grammar rules.
Let's start with will. We often use it when we make a decision at the moment of speaking or when we predict something.
So if someone asks whether I want coffees and I suddenly decide, I can say, yes, I'll have a coffee.
Perfect. You made the decision right then, so will sounds natural. It's quick, simple, and commonly used by native speakers.
And we also use will for predictions, right? For example, when we think something might happen in the future.
Exactly. You can say, I think it will rain tomorrow, because you're giving your opinion or prediction about a future event.
Then I could also say, I think I will pass the test. I'm not completely sure, but I believe it will happen.
That's a perfect example, Jack. You're expressing confidence about the future while also showing that it is still a prediction.
I like using will. It feels simple, natural, and confident. And I can already imagine using it in many everyday conversations.
Great job, Jack. Now let's talk about be going to. We use it when we already made a plan before speaking and know what we want to do.
So the decision is not made at this moment. It was already in my mind before the conversation started, and now I'm simply sharing it.
Exactly. For example, if someone asks about your weekend, you can say, I'm going to visit my parents, because the plan already exists.
I think I understand. If I already decided to study English every day, I can say, I'm going to improve my English this year.
Perfect. That's a natural way to express a future plan. You're showing that the decision was made earlier and you're working toward it.
That feels easy. So we have will for quick decisions and predictions, and be going to for plans that already exist.
Exactly. Now let's look at be planning to. This expression sounds thoughtful and organized, especially when talking about important goals.
I like that expression. It sounds more serious and professional, which seems useful for interviews and conversations about long-term goals.
That's right. You can say, I'm planning to start a business next year. It tells people you've thought carefully about your future.
So will is for quick decisions, be going to is for existing plans, and be planning to is for organized future goals.
Excellent summary, Jack. You explained the differences clearly, and those three expressions will help learners handle most future conversations.
Thanks, Emma. But I can see why learners get confused because all three forms talk about the future, yet each one feels different.
Exactly. Imagine someone asks about your plans for tonight. If you say, I will cook dinner, it sounds like a new decision.
But if I say, I'm going to cook dinner, it sounds more natural because I probably knew about that plan before the conversation.
That's exactly the difference. The meaning is similar, but the feeling changes, and that small change can make your English sounds that more natural.
I think I've been using will for almost everything. Now, I understand why some of my sentences sounded a little unusual sometimes.
Don't worry, people still understood you. Learning these small differences simply helps you sound more comfortable and more like a native speaker.
I love learning through stories. Do you have a real example that shows how these future expressions work in everyday situations?
Actually, yes. Years ago, I had a job interview, and the interviewer asked me about my plans for the next 5 years.
Oh no, that question always makes me nervous. It's one of the most common interview questions, but it's never easy to answer.
I was nervous too. I said, I will become a manager, I will lead a team, and I will make the company successful.
Those answers sound very confident, but maybe a little too certain, almost like you were making promises instead of sharing plans.
Exactly. Later, a mentor told me to use softer expressions like I'm planning to or I'm hoping to because they sound more natural.
That makes sense. Those phrases show ambition and confidence, but they also sound realistic, thoughtful, and professional at the same time.
Right. A better answer would be I'm planning to develop my leadership skills and I'm hoping to take on more responsibilities.
I like that version much more. It sounds confident without being too strong, and it feels like something a real person would naturally say.
Yes, Jack. Saying I'm planning to become a better speaker shows you already thought about it. It sounds more natural, warm, and realistic than just saying I will.
So both are correct, but I'm planning to feels more human and believable. It shows my idea is already formed, not just a sudden promise.
Exactly. And I noticed you just said, I'm going to use this for my next interview. That was perfect natural usage because you already decided it.
Wow, I didn't even think about it. It just came out naturally. I feel like my brain is starting to use these patterns without effort now.
That's the goal. Now let's move to another idea. Sometimes we talk about future dreams or hopes, not fixed plans, but wishes from the heart.
Like something I really want, but I'm not completely sure it will happen. More like an emotional goal or personal dream for the future.
Exactly. For that, we use phrases like I hope to, I'd love to, or I dream of. These are softer and more emotional expressions.
So, I hope to travel the world means it's a dream, but I'm going to travel the world means I already have a real plan.
Perfect. I hope to is for wishes, not confirmed plans. It makes your English sound kind, natural, and more expressive when talking about your future.
I don't have a ticket yet, so I should say, I hope to travel the world instead of sounding too certain about it.
Exactly. And these phrases make conversations warmer. People connect more when you share hopes and dreams in a simple, honest way.
I can see that. It feels more personal when someone talks about dreams instead of just strict plans and fixed goals all the time.
Now imagine you're at a party and someone asks, "What are your plans these days?" Before, you might feel confused or nervous answering.
Yes, I would probably say something simple like, I want to do many things, and then feel like I didn't explain myself properly.
But now you can answer clearly. For example, I'm planning to improve my English, I'm going to take an online course, and I hope to work abroad.
That sounds very confident and natural. It feels like a real adult answer, not something simple or unclear like before.
Exactly. And when you speak like this, people listen more carefully and often ask you follow up questions, so the conversation becomes longer.
So just changing a few words can actually change how people react to me in real conversations. That's really powerful.
Perfect. I hope to is for wishes, not confirmed plans. It makes your English sound kind, natural, and more expressive when talking about your future. Perfect. I hope to is for wishes, not confirmed plans. It makes your English sound kind, natural, and more expressive when talking about your future.
Like saying, I'm going to exercise more because I want to feel healthier and stronger. That makes the sentence more complete and meaningful. Like saying, I'm going to exercise more because I want to feel healthier and stronger. That makes the sentence more complete and meaningful.
Perfect example. Now let's quickly review today's vocabulary so our learners can remember and use these expressions in real conversations.
Great idea. These short phrases are very useful because we can use them immediately in daily speaking without thinking too much.
First, I'm going to means you already decided something before speaking. It shows a clear and fixed plan in your mind.
For example, I'm going to study English tonight. It means I already planned it earlier today and now I'm just saying it.
Second, I'm planning to means you are serious and organized about your future goals. It often sounds more formal and thoughtful.
Like, I'm planning to save money this year. It shows I have a clear idea and I'm working toward that goal step by step.
Third, I hope to is used for dreams or wishes. It shows something you want deeply, but you're not fully sure it will happen yet.
So it is more emotional and less certain. It helps express my personal dreams in a soft and natural way when speaking English.
Great, Jack. I hope to visit Japan someday is a perfect example of a dream. It shows something you really want, but it is not certain yet.
Yes, that really feels like a personal dream. It is soft and emotional, not a fixed plan, just something I wish for in the future.
Now let's learn number 4. I'll probably. We use this when we are not 100% sure about a future action or decision.
So if I say, I'll probably stay home this weekend, it means maybe I will stay home, but I am still not completely decided.
Exactly. It sounds casual, honest, and flexible. It shows uncertainty without sounding confusing or too serious about your plans.
I like that. It feels very natural in daily conversation, like when I am not fully sure what I will do yet. I like that. It feels very natural in daily conversation, like when I am not fully sure what I will do yet.
Now, number 5 is I'd love to. We use this when we talk about something exciting or something we really want emotionally.
Like, I'd love to work in another country. That sounds very strong and emotional, like a real dream from the heart.
Yes, it adds feeling to your sentence. It makes your English sound warm, expressive, and more natural in real conversations.
So now we have 5 useful future phrases. I'm going to, I'm planning to, I hope to, I'll probably, and I'd love to.
Exactly. And the best part is you can mix them together in one answer to sound even more natural and fluent.
For example, I can say, I'm planning to change my job, I hope to start a business, and I'd love to be my own boss.
That was excellent, Jack. You used 3 different future forms naturally in one sentence, as it sounded very fluent and confident.
I didn't even think about it too much. It just came out naturally. I guess I'm starting to understand the patterns now.
That's exactly what happens when you practice. It stops feeling like grammar rules and starts feeling like real communication.
So the main idea is that English gives us different tools for talking about the future, and each tool has its own feeling.
Perfectly said. Sue, choosing the right expression helps you sound more natural, confident, and clear when you talk about your future plans.
I think this is one of the most useful lessons I've learned because we talk about the future almost every day in real life.
Perfectly said. Choosing the right expressions is how you sound more natural, confident, and clear when you talk about your future plans.
I think this is one of the most useful lessons I've learned because we talk about the future almost every day in real life.
Now, before we finish, we want to ask our listeners one simple question. What is one future plan you have right now?
Try answering using today's phrases like, I'm going to, I'm planning to, I hope to, I'll probably, or I'd love to.
I'll start. I'm planning to practice English speaking for 10 minutes every day, starting from today, to improve my confidence and fluency, step by step.
That's a great plan. And I hope to hear many answers from our listeners in the comments. Every sentence you write is good practice.
Writing in English is also practice. It helps you think in English and use new grammar in a real and meaningful way.
Thank you so much for learning with us today on Talk Ema. Every episode you join helps you move one step closer to your goals.